Greetings, YouTube. I want you to imagine that somebody turns 18, and the day after they turn 18, they go to a bank. They say, hey, I would like to take out a mortgage to buy a house. I have no money to put down as a down payment, um, and I work at a car wash making $9 an hour. Would you give me a mortgage, please? Now, how many banks are going to do that? How many banks are just going to hand that 18-year-old with a low-paying job and no financial history and no down payment? Not to mention what the credit score is. Now, please remember that the credit score didn't exist before '86. It's bullshit. Always has been. It's just another way of manipulating us. But you think the bank's going to do that? You think the bank's just going to throw money at them? One of those little money guns, rain cash down on their heads? Of course not. That's going to be considered a bad risk. Yet, if that same 18-year-old says, hey, I'd like to take out $300,000 in college loans, they'll line up to give that money to them because they know that they're going to get that kid on the hook, and that kid's going to be paying those things back until he's 70, if ever. Why is that illegal? Now you're going to say, well, without college loans, kids wouldn't be able to get a college education. Well, I think we've shown that college educations don't really matter a whole lot in this current work environment. Current job market shows people who are very well educated can't get a job anywhere doing anything. They can't make a living wage, and they're in debt. And this whole system was put in place by people who, if I may quote something I read on the internet, got their college education for the price of a chicken nugget, who walked in off the street into a job, got one, and stayed there for 40 years with something you can't do anymore. If all the 60-plus people in America were to right now, today, try to go get a job fresh out of the gate, they wouldn't. They couldn't. They don't know how the system works. They don't understand how the cards have been stacked against anyone looking for a decent job right now, let alone somebody who's just starting out with a college education. They're all expected to do internships, which are absolutely immoral. Internships are just a means of filtering out poor people. That's all they do. Because the only people who can get an internship and survive for a year or two without getting paid are wealthy. So it's a way to filter out minorities and poor white people. They all internships should have to be paid. Period. And all the education in America, all of it, from K through college, should be paid by tax dollars. After college, then you get probably looking at grants and things like that. If you want to go, want to become a doctor and stuff, then maybe you could sign up and say, hey, government, I would like to become a doctor. And at the end of my education, I will work for you for X number of years. Cool. My sister did that. Yeah, she graduated from Georgetown and eventually decided she wanted to be a nurse practitioner and went to Yale. At the end of that education, she did a tour of working at hospitals that the United States government put her in. She worked in, I think, 3 different hospitals, and one of them was in California, San Francisco. And she eventually decided that she really liked California, moved to San Diego. She still lives there today. Has 2 kids there now. And she's really happy with it. More power to her. But that's how she got her education. And that's a perfectly valid way to do it. Now, her Georgetown education was paid for by my father. That one still sticks in my craw a bit. So I really think that our tax dollars should be paying for this, just like our tax dollars should be paying for Medicare for all. That's something else that should be covered. Making sure that no one is homeless and hungry. Those are also things we should be doing. But right now, we're talking about education. That bank isn't going to give an 18-year-old a mortgage. But a bank is going to give an 18-year-old crushing debt that they will never, ever escape from. for their entire lives. And if the mortgage isn't going to be something they want to do, why should we be allowing the banks and the education institutions and the U.S. government, who's actually the ones behind a lot of school loans, educated college loans, why are they allowed to get away with it? And they shouldn't be. So let's do something about that. Let's vote people into office who will change the system, make education free at the point of delivery, paid for by our tax dollars, and release people from their school debt. They shouldn't be punished for trying to become educated. We should be trying to get as many people educated as possible. We'd be better off.